and welcome to Hexed Encountered. I'm Joe. In this video, we were going to be doing a first look at the game Combat Commander 20th Anniversary Edition. This is a design from the late great Chad Jensen, published by GMT Games. Take a quick flip at, well, before I do that, I really like the artwork here. This is a period World War II art sketch. I believe it says inside, I have not opened the box, but you can see here it's Sergeant Howard Brody, maybe? Anyway, we'll see what it is when I get inside. That sketch is pretty cool in my opinion. So many people know what Combat Commander is, and this video is really just to kind of show you what you get with the 20th Anniversary Edition of the game. So I probably won't go into the rules in depth. As I said, this game's been around, obviously, for 20 years. Many people have played it. Many people love it. There are some that have bounced off of it. It is not particularly solitaire friendly, as you can see back right here. It gets a 3 on the solitaire suitability scale, mid-level complexity. It's a 1 to 3 hour game for 14 and up, and it is listed only as 2 players because, as I said, it's not impossible to play solo, but it's not really at its best in that format. This works best when you have somebody to play against. So what do you get inside here before we bust in and find out? You get 7 full color counter sheets, 12 17 by 22 inch two-sided color maps, 8 color 8.5 by 11 inch player aid cards, 1 color 8.5 by 22 inch track display, 436, yes, 436 playing cards, a color rule book, and a color scenario book. The unit scale for this game is squads, fire teams, and individual leaders. Each turn is several minutes, and the map scale is 30 meters per hex. This edition combines Combat Commander Europe and Combat Commander Mediterranean to recreate the game as it was originally designed, and includes minor nations. All right, I'm going to open it up and we'll take a look at what's inside the box. Okay, here is our rule book. Not overly lengthy, as you can see. 24 pages if you count the index page. We can flip through it real quickly. I'm not going to go over the rules, as I mentioned earlier. You've got your table of contents here. Talks about, you have an intro, of course, game scale, contents, glossary, components, etc., the core rules, your orders, actions, events, terrain, fortifications, and the box art story, which I will look at, and then our index here as well. So you we'll just flip through real quick so you can look and see what the rule book looks like. This is available, of course, as a PDF on the GMT website, as are all of their rule books. They are very good about that. They have plenty of content on this game and pretty much every game they have on their website. Their website is very well done. And you can see all of the nicely laid out rules. Chad was well known for his skill at writing rule books. All right, so and they all have case numbers and even a leading letter that tells you what it is. Like section F, of course, is fortifications, as you can see right here. Here's our box art. Okay, Howard Brody was the artist, right? So this was written, I believe, by Kai Jensen. And yeah. So there's a nice story here. I won't read it out loud, but there's a nice story here. And as I said, you can look at it on the PDF. And it's really, GIs froze in position when caught in the fire on snowy road. One held his arm outstretched, moving. He may be detected by enemy. Motionless, he may appear part of the landscape. All right, and then a full index on the back. Okay, here's our playbook, which is significantly thicker than the rule book. So this has your historical scenarios set up, 24 scenarios, how you work the random scenario generator, point values for purchasing units, and so on, scenario design hints, sources and suggested reading, development, and play test notes. Then you have an example of play. that runs 5 pages or 6. Unit manifest, weapon radio manifest, card manifest, minor nations manifest. So you get all of the context that goes with all of the contents of the game, and the credits on the back cover. You can see notes. Note that items in blue text inside here indicate functional changes from the first editions of the playbooks from Combat Commander Europe and Combat Commander Mediterranean. I might do an example of play video only because I can walk through that without having to worry about having an opponent. I typically play solitaire unless I can commandeer my son into playing with me. But that's difficult because of our schedules. So that is the playbook. I won't go through it very much. As I said, you can see here, these are some of the manifests. We have the Minor Nation manifest. You can see some leaders there, right? Hero, Corporal Y, Sergeant X, Sergeant Y, Lieutenant X, Lieutenant Y, Captain. And then your various types of squads, weapons teams, and radio manifest. We'll go inside here. Card manifest for Italy and the Axis Miners, right? This is a card powered game, I guess you could say. I don't know that you would necessarily, I guess you could say it's card driven, but I don't know that I would go that far. But cards are what you use to perform actions. Here is our track display. Okay, again, if you have Combat Commander, I have Combat Commander Pacific. I did not get Europe or Mediterranean. They were actually out of print when I picked up Combat Commander Pacific, and I was going to buy them, and then GMT decided to do this 20th anniversary, so I got on the P500 for that. But I am familiar with this. So, and if you've played Fighting Formations, it has something laid out this way too. It's not the same, of course, but this is kind of a Chad Jensen-like player aid here for the tracks. So you can see all of the stuff on here. We got a victory track, casualty track, time track, weapons, then your order of battle display, what year you're in, and then down here you have various items. And that is, of course, a single side. And we have our American order of battle. So you can see all of this in here, right? Pretty cool stuff. You can see what the counters look like. On the back, we have the American support table. Right. Then we have the German order of battle, orders of battle, same kind of thing. So you get one of these for each nation that's in the game. Support on the back, just as we just saw with the Americans. We have the Russians, of course. And their support table. The Commonwealth, or the British and their Commonwealth, and their support. So you can see you get a lot with this. Next, we have the French and Allied miners, their orders of battle. And on the back, the support. Then we have the Italians and the Axis miners. And you can see they're all color-coded. Okay, then we have our regular player aids, starting here, with your time marker advance, fire attack, melee, die triggers, unit victory point values, discards, right? Hand size for each side, stacking rules, and all kinds of information. Here we have our leader table with all of the named leaders for each faction, I guess you could say. And then modifiers, right? Nation-based modifiers for each of the nations based on year, and your fortifications down at the bottom here. Then our next one has our TEC on it, your terrain effects chart, your terrain chart. You can see examples of what they look like on map, which is always useful for me. I find that always extremely useful. Your water features, your various roads and railroads and trails and all that stuff, fences, hedges, walls, hills and cliffs, smoke and blaze, plenty of things. You've got the name, the movement cost, the cover, the line of sight, effects, and the notes as appropriate, single-sided. That's our TEC. Then we have counters, lots and lots of counters. So let's zoom in on this a little bit. All right. Here we have sheet 1 of 7. Good standard GMT counters. You can see credited to Chad Jensen and Lee Brimacombe Wood, who's also a really good designer, particularly of air games. And the back. Okay. 2, we have some blanks on here. Now you get some support weapons, control markers, Molotov cocktails. This light green is Axis Miners and Italians, I believe. Now this one features art by Kai Jensen as well as the 2 gentlemen previously mentioned. Sheet number 3. These have we have some Americans here. Right, these are squads and so on. Right, and we have Germans in their gray. Lots of Germans, including, as you can see up there, SS, elite rifles, parachute, Volksgrenadier, conscripts, etc., pioneers, all kinds of stuff, right? Dietl, hero of the Reich, Private Herzog. Of course, they all have backs as well. This would be the backside of all of those counters, Germans and Americans. And here we have the Russians, I think. And the Italians and Axis miners. Yes, these would be the Russians, as you can see by the names there. Right, engineers, Sergeant Smith, Sergeant Bueller, Sergeant White. Oh, these are Americans, not miners. All right, got my greens mixed up there. Backs. All right, number 5. These are our light greens. These are our Italians and Axis miners. You can see the Italian names in there. All right, Furio, fascist hero. Bersaglieri. You have the appropriate names, some black shirts, of course. And up at the top here, weapons. I believe this would be the French/Allied miner variety. And at the bottom, OB stats for the various factions as well. And we have more French here. Corporal Boudreau, Girard, Binoche, etc. Some legionnaires, reservist, chasseurs, elite, line, and some Brits down at the bottom, Brits/Commonwealth. And we'll move up here, and you see territorial troops, guards, engineers, and then some of the leaders, Cork, Isway, Crow, Foyle, etc., Sergeant Kwan, Lieutenant O'Malley. Lieutenant Dan. You know where my mind goes when I see that. That's funny. Anyway, no Private Gump, but yeah. Backs of those counters. Then we have 7 of 7 here. Just some more troops for us. These would be your miners, looking at their national symbols on here. And their names. You've got some Poles here, I think. Oh, Markovic, Yugoslav hero. Okay. Romanians. More Brits. Some Finns. You can see there's a ton, a veritable ton of different things in here, as you'd expect from a game that combines several other games. Here is our assortment of maps. There are a bunch of them. As you can see, tons and tons and tons, right? So let's go look at them quickly, or relatively quickly. So I will zoom back out here so you can see it in better detail. Right, here we go. We've got, this would be map 2, which means the other side is likely to be map 1, and it is. Wow, 1 right there. Right, so here's a look at maps 1 and 2. Pretty standard look to them, right? Here we'll have 3 and 4, and you can see they're decent sized maps. This is, of course, 4, as I continue to put the even side out first. That is not necessarily on purpose, but that is just what is happening here. So that is map 4, more of like a town setting. You've got very well organized trees, some walls, buildings, etc. So yeah, that looks like a, and the map art here is from Chad Jensen and Leland Myrick. This is number 3. This one has more of a foresty look to it. All right, then we have 5, and I'll try to get map 5 out here first. So we'll do it like that. That is map 5. This one has some water and a bridge, as well as walls and hedges and so on. So you can see there's a good variety of terrain. This is a much more urban looking map, map number 6. Lots of buildings, road, walls, etc. Very long building. So this is all good stuff here. It is thick paper, not mounted, of course, but thick paper. So it's not fragile by any stretch. You can slap a little plexi on top and it'll be nice and flat and work just fine. This one has a railroad running right through the middle of it. This is number 7, kind of a foresty wilderness with a railroad. And here's 8. We've got some elevation on this one. So that is 7 and 8. This one would be 9. So here's number 9. We've got some fields, got some buildings, and some elevation as well. 3 levels if you count the low level, right? You got a level here and a level there. So you'll have some interesting line of sight situations perhaps on that one. Did I do 10? I didn't do 10, did I? No, I did not. 10 looks pretty interesting. Some nice roads here. Nice big lake there in the middle. Pretty interesting. This would be an interesting defensive spot, I think. Kind of one way in and out, right? Pretty cool. Pretty cool. 9 and 10. Okay, here is 11. Map 11. So this one is pretty nice as well. I really like the art here at the bottom, like with the helmet. That is very cool. Sorry, let me do that. Make it easier here for myself. Combat Commander with the helmet there. This is map number 12. This one's pretty interesting. Plenty of elevation changes. We've got buildings and walls. Some orchards, it looks like. Good stuff, right? A lot of variation in the battlefields that you can work with here. The nice thing about this game is that you can create your own scenarios, as I mentioned. It comes with a ton, 24, but you also can build your own, and you have all of these really well done maps on which to play them. So this is map 13. And on the other side, we have map 14. A lot of tactical possibilities on these maps. Here we have, this would be number 15. Again, more kind of town look, I guess. You got a main road going through the middle, a couple of secondaries, some fields, so maybe more like a village, perhaps. That's 15. Here's 16. This is an interesting one as well. A lot of open terrain here in the middle, kind of. You do have some things that are going to interfere with line of sight. All right, on to 17. There are, I think, 24 maps. So this is 17. And this one is more urban again, although there is some mixture up here. We do have some light trees, orchard type stuff, some walls, smaller buildings. And here you have a lot of bigger buildings. This would be a good, somewhat urban fight, I would believe. And then here, this one is really interesting. You have I would assume, kind of bridge attack. One side will be trying to cross that bridge to the other side of the river. Yeah, pretty cool, right? So that is number 18. Then we go to 19. This is 19. Let's turn it this way. All right. Good elevation here. We have an even higher elevation level right there. Right. Level 5, I guess, is what it's indicating there by the circle. Right. The buildings, of course, have their own heights as well. So there you go. Whoops, got to do the other side. Sorry, almost forgot. Number 20. This one has a lot of trees on it. And trees make for interesting situations. You can have some marshy ground here, a little bit of water. Very interesting. All right. And 21 and 22. This is 21. Again, lots of elevation here. Some trees, some hedges, some cultivated areas. On the other side, a tree-lined road. Some buildings. This is much more of like farmland. Almost like a plantation. You got some massive fields up here and over here. Some fencing. You got your tree-lined road here. Very, very cool. Right? That's 22. Very diverse set here of layouts. Now we have 23. This one looks pretty open. This is a very open one, right? A lot of open terrain. This is going to just be probably like a basic slugfest here, as you have this one road going through the middle, and then everything else is just clear terrain. Nothing blocking any line of sight there. And our final map, number 24. Very similar to the other one, but no road. Instead, we have kind of a hill and a mesa, maybe. Kind of a plateau here in the middle. Maybe you can assault the heights or something along those lines. Well, or defend it, depending on which side you're playing. So that is the look at the maps. As you can see, there's a ton of stuff in this box. So here's our bag of baggies. That's pretty standard, right? Then we've got cards. Lots and lots of cards. 436, if I remember correctly. The cards, of course, are a core element of this particular system. I probably will not open these and go through them. You might have to wait for some gameplay for that, but you can see kind of the standard layout here. You have an order section, an action section, an event section, and then some aids down here at the bottom to help determine things, right? You may have noticed this game does not come with any dice, right? So you're using cards. And you can see this is the British Fate deck. This one is our American Fate deck. They're all laid out the same way, right? But they're tied to various factions. And here we have the Germans. You can have a recover order, for example, assault, fire, action. Event is shell holes, place a foxhole in a random hex. And here we have, trying to determine by the color here, which I don't know which faction this is. It's possibly this is the Italians based on the color. But this has your objective chits on it, kind of a helper card right there. Then this one is our French Fate deck. Appropriate photograph there. I mean, this game has a very excellent reputation for a good reason. It's really well done, really well designed. The components, of course, very, very GMT standard, which means excellent. And the rules are extremely well done, of course. One of the things Chad was very famous for was his rulebooks. This is a very famous picture here of a Soviet officer, I think, on the Eastern Front. This, of course, is our Russian Fate deck. Right, so you have Fate decks for all of the various factions. So yes, this would be the Italians because they're the only one not represented. 6 different factions. Of course, if you buy the Pacific game, you get the Japanese as well. So that is our look at Combat Commander 20th Anniversary Edition. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the video. As I said, I do plan on doing probably the gameplay example that would give an example of play of the game. So that would make it a little bit easier to demonstrate how the game works without me trying to dig up an opponent, I should say. Big shout out to my channel members at the hexed and countered levels. Appreciate the support, guys. Thank you very much. For everyone else, as I said, thanks for watching. Hope you'll come back and check out something else down the road. I'd ask that you please consider liking, sharing, hyping, and or maybe even subscribing. Or if you have anything you'd like to say, I always welcome comments. I like to hear from my audience, and I will do my best to get back to you as soon as possible. So if you do have any questions or comments, you can put them in the comment section. I will do my best to get a reply to you as soon as I can. But that is it for now. I'm done. We're out of here. This is Joe. It's Hexed and Countered. And until next time, happy gaming.